Okay. Well, yeah. Along that same line, I guess I want to talk about one time when I was like younger. I took some acid, and I was with my friend, and I kind of just like felt like I was like falling into myself or something like that, and I just became like really present, and it felt like I just like fell into like a really like good state of emotional bliss, and I just wanted to like know more about that and like how to access that more.
Yes, thank you. It is, in a sense, the acid was like a catalyst, or you could say like a key to open the door to this frequency, this room of consciousness. It is a room that, in a sense, it is always present, it is always accessible, and you can, when you go into these meditative states, as a tool, you can tap into like the memories of some of those experiences in that, if you will, that journey, that trip that you found most enjoyable, most comforting, most falling into yourself. Or you could say, in a sense, because you are unconditional love, that is your core, actual, infinite, eternal nature, unconditional love, you are, in a sense, more in alignment with that frequency of unconditional love that you are. You could say you are falling in love with the unconditional love that is who you are, in that sense. Your conscious awareness was letting go of the veils, the walls, the curtains, the limitations that have in your society been taught for so long that were, in a sense, serving only to prevent you from being more in love with the unconditional love that you actually are, that exist in an infinite number of ways, that all can be very fascinating and enjoyable for you to be falling into, flowing within, experiencing, however you want to say that idea. So, one way, one tool, not then to have to take an acid trip to access this room, this frequency, is in a meditative state to remember how it felt on that moment you were on the acid trip. That can be like a tool to remind yourself how to get back in that place, like a key to get the door open again. And realize it will be, for you each time you do this, somewhat different. The depths, the expansiveness of the feeling and the falling into, resonating with your unconditional love will be different, we would suggest, in each time you do this. So allow for each one to be its own unique experiencing without trying to get back to the exact same sensation. And the more you do this, sometimes you will find it to be perhaps feeling more deeply falling in love, falling into yourself in that sense, and other times perhaps it won't quite seem to be as deep, maybe not perhaps as productive for you or as enjoyable for you. But the idea then, the more you do this, the more that frequency of being in resonance with your actual unconditional loving nature becomes more easily accessible, until over time it becomes your primary aware state of attunement, of frequency, of awareness, of experiencing, as though that becomes the channel that you are more frequently watching, being, tuning into, accessing, choosing to put out. Thus then you will get back more of those like frequencies. Do you understand what we have shared in this moment with that idea?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Would you like to explore it further in some way or direction, this falling into yourself idea? For it is a wonderful recognition and experience to have, we feel.
You say it's a wonderful recognition for me to have?
Yes, to be aware of
Yeah,
that. For many people can have an entire lifetime and not experience that once. You can live an entire life in that place and still be functioning in your day-to-day activities on Earth, interacting with others. It is very real, a very real reality. It is very possible. We aren't suggesting you make that your goal, but it is something that can, and there are others who are on earth who do live in that way, and they are able to do so choosing consciously without, in that sense, taking a assistant that you in that time called acid. So, is there more of that idea you would like to explore, or is there something else, another direction you would like to go in this moment?
I guess is that like what is referred to as like the Christ consciousness?
Yes, thank you. It is very much more into that idea, certainly. Yes, this is, thank you, this is a very good awareness and recognition. You are attaining that in an aware state. It's a very powerful experience, very wondrous to be a human in this timing and to be able to connect to that experience, to tune in that frequency, to align yourself consciously into the Christ consciousness, the unconditional love, the collective unconditional love of your human race on planet Earth. Yes, thank you.
Cool, that's awesome.
Realize this can go very deep. It is infinite in terms of how much falling in you can do. And it isn't something that's going to ever escape you. In that sense, it isn't going to disappear at some point. It isn't going to be vanquished. It is an eternal existence, this type of love. Only for you to choose to tune into it, thus then will you be able to access it. The more you do, well, the more you are in that place. For what you put out is what you get back. Third law of creation. Yes. The more you focus in this area, well, the more you are experiencing this Christ consciousness in your own unique ways. And often there will be overlaps in how others perhaps experience it as well. So there is, with this Christ consciousness, a commonality that you all can experience similarities with what is taking place for you when you are tuned into Christ consciousness, and yet there are also unique ways that you experience only you of the Christ consciousness, and can share those with others in ways that will be new and exciting for them to hear of. So in a sense, you are scratching the surface, and there are many on your planet who haven't come close to doing so. So it is a wondrous achievement in our observation that you are at this place. And we thank you for being willing to open up and talk about it in this way. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for being there to answer my questions about it. That's awesome.
Thank you.